Daily God's Promise. Day 27, September 27, 2025. Welcome, beloved friends, to Daily God's Promise, Day 27. Today, we embrace the life-changing, paradoxical promise from 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9. And he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore most gladly I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me." Paul wrote these words after pleading with the Lord 3 times to remove his thorn in the flesh, a persistent struggle or affliction. Instead of removing it, God gave Paul something greater, the promise of sufficient grace and strength in weakness. For believers in Corinth, who often sought worldly power and prestige, this truth was radical. God's power is most clearly displayed when human weakness is acknowledged and surrendered to Him. This is God's direct answer to all who struggle with their limitations, offering not an escape from weakness, but a radical new purpose for it. The core promise is absolute. My grace is sufficient for you. Grace is God's unmerited favor and His divine enabling power, and sufficient means it is perfectly enough, more than adequate for every need, challenge, or weakness you face. God is promising that whatever your thorn in the flesh may be, grief, chronic illness, financial strain, or deep temptation, His grace is not a help, but the all-encompassing help that you need. We don't need less trouble, we need more of His sufficient grace. Strength made perfect in weakness. This promise overturns all human logic. For my strength is made perfect in weakness. We strive to be strong so we can succeed. God says His power reaches its fullest expression in our acknowledged inability. When we are weak, we finally stop leaning on our own limited resources. Our inadequacy becomes the perfect void that only God's perfect, unlimited power can fill. It is a promise that your greatest struggles are the very stages where God plans to perform His greatest, most undeniable work. Boasting in the infirmity. The Apostle Paul's response is the key to our application. Therefore most gladly I will rather boast in my infirmities. Paul moved from praying for the thorn's removal to boasting in it. Boasting in weakness is counterintuitive, but it is the ultimate act of humility and faith. It's a declaration that our greatest desire is not comfort, but the manifest, tangible power of Christ, the dunamis of God, overshadowing us. We embrace the weakness, knowing it is the path to divine power. A promise for the exhausted soul in a generation exhausted by the pressure of perfection. This verse offers immense relief. It challenges the lie that you must be in control to be used by God. It promises that your struggles, the very things you hide and feel ashamed of, are your greatest divine assets. When you honestly surrender your weakness, God makes a covenant with it, guaranteeing that His strength will be displayed through you. Old Testament cross-references. God strengthens the powerless. As in Isaiah chapter 40 verse 29, He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might He increases strength. God Himself is our strength when we fail, as in Psalm chapter 73 verse 26. My flesh and my heart fail, but God is the strength of my heart. God enables us to endure by His strength, as in Habakkuk chapter 3 verse 19. The Lord God is my strength. He will make my feet like deer's feet. New Testament cross-references. God's strength empowers every situation, as in Philippians chapter 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The Spirit strengthens believers within, as in Ephesians chapter 3 verse 16, strengthened with might through His Spirit in the inner man. Grace is always available in need, as in Hebrews chapter 4 verse 16. Come boldly to the throne of grace to find mercy and help. Living in this promise today, wherever you feel weak, inadequate, or burdened by your thorn, stop trying to fix it in your own strength. Instead, boast in your inability. Surrender that weakness to the Lord, trusting that His grace is sufficient, and that His perfect strength is ready to rest upon you. This promise turns your biggest deficit into your greatest divine asset. God bless you and give you grace after grace.